Jean Cornels, and we have a great show for you today with Top of the Morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back. We're here with Gwen Rooks. Congratulations on being an inductee to the Maryland Women's Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much.
And you can hear some voices in the background because she's going to be inducted this evening. So a lot of the participants and those in the audience are coming among the highest test takers in Maryland. How do you encourage students to perform so well?
I think really it was really
showing up already, so you'll be able to hear them in the background. Gwen, I understand you were principal of the Hamilton Elementary Middle School, and your students ranked...
No, the teachers, and the way that we instructed the students, everybody had their program ready, the curriculum, and they developed it well, and the children learned.
I imagine some of it is the environment that you create for the teachers as well, though, for encouraging them in their work.
Yes, yes. I was in charge, like a supervisor of new teachers before becoming a principal. So we would, write curriculum, and curriculum that was in line with the age and abilities of the students.
Oh, that's great. Well, and you also developed a grant from an after-school mentoring program for young women.
Yes.
Tell us about that grant, and who do you serve?
Okay. The grant was something that was asked of us to do. The First Presbyterian Church on St. Paul Street had...
Here in Annapolis?
No,
or
in Baltimore.
In Baltimore, okay.
Yeah, had a foundation, and they wanted an after-school program for girls. And so Karen Haywood West and my daughter Heidi put together a wonderful program for girls, and we called it the Dare to Dream Academy.
Wow, the Dare to Dream Academy.
For girls. And so Heidi traveled, and her job took her out of the city, and so I became the director. I thought it was going to be for 3 months, but it's been 12 years.
Is that right?
that I've been directing.
Well, that must mean you are enjoying it very much.
Yes, yes. So we get the girls from middle school, Booker T. Washington, Midtown Academy, and Mount Royal middle schools. And so we take them from the 6th grade to the 8th grade. We help them with the transition into high school.
One of the toughest transitions as a student, probably.
Yes, yes. And getting them to understand that we're there for them, and whatever your needs are, we will help you.
And what is the Dare to Dream? What is that? What do you encourage the girls to do?
We want them to be what they want to be. Now, this program is between Family and Children's Services of Central Maryland.
Okay.
And our executive director is Mr. Stanley Levy. And Rose I make a chapter of AKA. That's the partnership that we put together.
And AKA, for those who don't know it, if you could spell that out. Yeah, that's it.
Alpha Kappa Alpha, sorority. And the women in the sorority become mentors to these young girls. So
wow, so you pair them up?
Yes, if you come to me and say that you would like to be a pediatrician, I have one for you in the sorority.
It's fantastic.
And so it's a nice blend, and the children do well, and the women in the sorority just love it.
Do you find it pretty easy to find volunteers in for a program like this, or is it hard in this busy world?
No, when I speak, they listen.
Is that right? They'll come to you. Why weren't you running my program? You were appointed by the governor to the Physician Quality Assurance Board as a consumer member. What was your role on that board?
I sat on the board, and if physicians came before us and there was some question about the practices that they were using, then we had to decide what was best for the public. And so we would listen and make recommendations as to what should happen.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what would be an example of a practice that would come before the board?
Oh.
Without getting too technical, I don't know. But just for those of us who aren't familiar.
Well, if someone in the family had questions about the procedures that were being made in a particular case, then we would have to talk about that.
Okay, okay. Well, and I'd like to ask you too, what advice would you give to young women who are just starting out their career and making decisions for education or their first jobs to take? Do you have any advice for women at that point in their career?
Yes, because you see, my girls in the after-school program are finishing college right now. We had about 7 graduates this last.
Congratulations.
Yes,
That's fantastic.
Yes. So we want to make a good match as far as the children are concerned with what they want to do. And that's where the mentors come in. You know, they can advise them, they can tell them, or talk to them about the colleges that they might attend, the coursework that they would have to do to become.
Things they might not be familiar with, but
yes,
we appreciate hearing.
Yes.
Gwen, thank you so much, and congratulations on being inducted this evening. Very proud to be able to meet you, and thank you very much for joining us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. I am indeed honored to introduce my phenomenal friend and colleague, Gwendolyn Rooks. When I was preparing her introduction, I made notes on Gwen, the wife, Gwen, the mother and grandmother, Gwen, the entrepreneur, Gwen, the educator and public school administrator, Gwen, civic leader, Gwen, the advocate for families and children, and Gwen, the phenomenal director of the After School Academy for Middle School Girls, sponsored by Family Children's Services of Central Maryland and the Annie Roberts Foundation in partnership with the Rho Xi Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And after I wrote down all those things and had several pages, I said, you know, all of her accomplishments, all of her honors, all of the boards that she currently sits on, or the boards that she has sat on, will be a part of her bio. So I want to share something with you that was written by one of Gwen's mentees. And if you listen to this letter written by this young lady, I want you to multiply 300 times because it reflects the sentiments of the girls that Gwen has touched. And she writes, my name is Charmaine, and I am a senior at the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. Mrs. Gwendolyn Rooks is a big part of my life and has always been an inspiration to me. I was in the 6th grade and attended Booker T. Washington Middle School when I met her. Mrs. Rooks introduced me to the Alpha Kappa Alpha After School Academy for young girls. Little did I know that was just the beginning of what she had planned for me. The program is designed to help young girls emotionally, physically, spiritually, and most importantly, academically. Other girls like me participated in music, acting, tutoring, art, computer science, and dance. The program is one of the best things that happened to me. because it opened a lot of doors. Mrs. Rooks is a blessing that was sent to me not only because of the program, but also for the opportunities outside the program. She introduced me to my first and true love, which is dance. I joined the Baltimore Dance Tech of Baltimore, Maryland. My first 2 years, I danced on full scholarship, underwritten by Mrs. Rooks. With the help of Mrs. Rooks, I was sent on an all-expenses-paid trip to San Diego, California, my first plane ride, to participate in the National Blacks in Dance Conference. I had the chance to be taught by master dance teachers from different parts of the world. I also met other dancers like myself. I had the time of my life. I have performed at Towson University, the Theater Project of Baltimore, Maryland, the Baltimore Museum of Art, Artscape, and venues all over Washington, D.C. Mrs. Rooks has been to every dance concert performance, including the takeoff of a very early flight to California. And that meant a lot to me. Not only has Mrs. Rooks been a supportive mentor, but she has played the role of a supportive parent. I have seen many things because of Mrs. Rooks, including performances at the Baltimore School for the Arts, the Kennedy Center, and places around the world. In the summer of 2004, Mrs. Rooks changed my life. She made it possible for me to go to South Africa for 2 long weeks on a travel study program. When I got the news, my mother and I cried tears of joy. Financially, Mrs. Rooks took care of my expenses that were necessary for me to go. When I got to Africa, I was blown away. I could not thank Mrs. Rooks enough. Surely, when I thought my turn was over, Mrs. Rooks invited me to join her on a day trip to New York to see a Broadway performance. Even though I have graduated from the program, Mrs. Rooks is still here, helping me with college. What more could you ask? Mrs. Rooks deserves so much. It's like she does something that's so big, and when you think she's finished, she tops it with something bigger. Sometimes I find myself thinking ahead in the future. I wonder, when she sits at my college graduation, will I know how to thank her then? Because I know she will be there. I am thankful for the blessings and the support that she has given me. It is with great pride that I introduce my friend, my colleague, Gwendolyn Rooks.
Good evening. Good evening. Joanne and I are partners in growing girls for greatness. Let me put my glasses on. Joanne mentioned to me that she had submitted my name to be a candidate for the Maryland Women's Hall of Fame. And I said, Joanne, you didn't. She said, I did. When I received a notification that I had been selected among a distinguished group of women, I was shocked and humbled. When you have a passion for work, it never seems like a job. The Dare to Dream After School Academy was conceived by Karen Haywood West and my daughter Heidi Rooks Art. And as Joanne said, it is a partnership between Family and Children's Services of Central Maryland and our sorority, AKA. Shortly after the academy began, Heidi accepted a position in another state. She let Stanley Levy, the executive director, know that her mother would direct the program. I think I was the last to know. Challenges arise when you realize the young girl doesn't see her own potential as she grows to become a young lady. The reward becomes apparent for both the student and the mentor when the young girl becomes a young lady who understands and appreciates the fact that she is respected, honored, and loved. Over the 12 years, I have watched the young girls develop into beautiful young ladies. I was at Towson College for a meeting one day, and I was sitting outside waiting for the meeting to begin, and I saw some words that have stayed with me. And this is what I say to the girls every day. And some of them will repeat them with me. It is not your environment, it is you. The quality of your mind, the integrity of your soul, the determination of your will is what will make your world. My first group of young ladies have accomplished so much in their lives. Some have graduated from college, some are in college, they're all around. I have learned so much from them and realized I needed them as much as they needed me. As time passed, it became quite clear that I was not only a nurturer, I was an impassionate advocate for children and families, because working with children requires an investment in their families. It really is a very important component of the village. My background in education provided the necessary tools and resources needed in order to encourage the students and empower them to realize that there is no dream that is too big or too grand or unreachable. Working with retired educators, philanthropists, entrepreneurs who share the vision and mission of the Dare to Dream has led me to realize that I am blessed beyond measures to put into action the African program. It takes the entire village to raise a child, and so the village grows. And I want you to see my village. Village, stand.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the show today. It's been so wonderful to be able to meet these distinguished women. I'm glad to be able to learn something from them myself, and I hope you did as well. Keep tuning in, and we will see you next time.